nice. Okay, so we're gonna look over the patch notes quickly, or more of like a big sort of update, I suppose, because it changes quite a bit about how the game is going to look in terms of in-game and stuff like that, which I'm excited to see. So this is for the 4th of August, so 2 days ago. Obviously, I have been away, so I missed the actual day, but you know, we've got to try and catch up, I suppose. Okay, so Spotlight minimap version 1.0. This is nice. Our initial implementation of a minimap is in. The minimap lives in the upper left corner of your heads-up display and gives the player critical gameplay information. You can, of course, still use the larger map to ping locations and see the state of things in more detail. This first version of the map shows your location and facing direction, ally locations, the locations of enemies detected by you or your teammates, hives, hive telegraphs and hive hearts, incoming objectives, active objectives, and pings. I think this is big. I think this is huge, especially as I really equate Crucible to being a MOBA, and you really just I wouldn't even care that much if it didn't show the enemies. I wouldn't even care that much if it didn't show the enemies. I think being able to see the objectives coming up is going to be really nice, and just being able to see where your teammates are. The enemies is a huge bonus as well. Yeah, I think this is a good thing. I think it's, you know, it's slowly getting to where we would have wanted it to be, I think, at the start. So obviously they added voice chat. Now they're adding the mini map. So I've got nothing to say there. We'll have to see it once we're in game, of course. Obviously it's a fine balance of getting it the right sort of size so it's not too intrusive, but I'm sure it's a good side. Developers notes, as part of this change, and because much of the information in the compass was duplicated by the minimap, we're removing the compass from the HUD. I didn't even notice a compass. I didn't even notice a... Oh my... Okay, fine. We're going to continue to examine how we can best use the space in the HUD to convey critical information, and we'll keep an eye on feedback to changes like this. Cool. Seems good. Quick comms. So I don't really use many of the contextual pings, but this is... It's kind of... Obviously, before we read into it, we'll see. I think this is kind of like, it's kind of getting there to the text chat, but it's not quite there. Pings are nice to say, hey, you can look here, but I think there's still potential. From communications, I think there's a percentage of people that don't like using a mic that would like a text chat to just be able to, like, you know, talk. I especially, you know, to go a bit SJW on things. It can be quite intimidating for a lot of girls to get on voice chat as well, because they don't like saying anything because they get suddenly pointed out that it's a girl in the chat. So a text chat from that point of view is potentially a benefit. And you know, it's nice. It's nice. I think a text chat is where we want to go, but contextual pings, contextual pings is like kind of getting there. It's kind of on the stepping stones. We're nearly across that river to the text chat. Contextual pings. Yeah, and you know, there'll be plenty of guys that aren't confident with their voice as well. I just know a lot of people, a lot of females have sort of said, look, you know, they go for ambiguous names and don't use voice chat so the guys in the chat aren't like, oh my god, it's a fucking girl. You know what I mean? Anyway, contextual pings. Various game objectives will produce a specific set of ping options on the quick comms wheel when you hold down the ping command, middle mouse wheel. I never even fucking used the extra ones. I really need to use this a bit more. Many of these pings have specific voiceover lines that relate to the objective pinged. This is the 2,500 or 2,750 or whatever voice lines they redid or did. Yeah, I think there's generally I don't think it's a mischaracterization to say that happens. So yeah, it would be nice to sort of just the text chat in there for people that aren't comfortable with voice. For example, harvester letter names are included in several of the new ping. Okay, cool. That's actually kind of nice. I actually do like that. Maybe if there's a, I'm gonna see if there's a quick ping for like, I'm going to A, or I'm going to B, or something like that. So you can like, or they've just taken A, or something like that. So you're kind of getting there to being able to communicate enough stuff without using voice, but yeah, it won't replace that. Objectives, amplifiers and harvesters, harmful plants, helpful plants, player placed objects like bugs plants and a Jonah's jamming shroud. Allies what the fuck? Allies, try saying hello to your teammate. It's okay. Enemy players, use focus target. Huge. I think I'm gonna try and use this even if I am using voice, because holy shit, sometimes like 5 people are like, hey, we should attack the AJ, and then everyone's like off attacking different targets. So at least having like a little ping over the top will be really nice to call out the enemies you want your allies to shoot at. And creatures. Roughly 2,000 new voice lines. I thought it was a little higher than that, but I probably misread. To support contextual pings, added new automatic voice lines for common situations. When a player first attempts to use med kits without having any. Interesting. So maybe there's just going to be like some filler text or filler voice going on, which is fair enough, I guess. It helps to, I guess, like... there's many of those kind of things that you kind of neglect when you're just playing, but it actually really helps to make you feel in the game, I suppose. Which I think a lot of people think of it sometimes just from a completely competitive standpoint. But, you know, it's nice to feel part of the world as well, even in a competitive game like this. Scenarios and objectives made significant changes to planetary event system. Please see map and matches for full notes. Okay, so that's going to be further down. We'll look at that soon. Hunters and gameplay general changes. Unified how reticle drop shadows look. Reticle drop shadows look so they will stand out in bright. Okay, so that's basically like an outline. It's kind of like with my YouTube videos when I put a bit of drop shadow on the over the text, so you can actually read it regardless of what's going on behind it. That's fine. That's good. You don't want to lose your reticle against something. Adjusted the voice line timings for all quick melee attacks. Oh, nice. How are you doing, John? We'll definitely, now I'm testing out these stream settings in this new house on the dodgiest internet ever. If I can get this stable, I'll drop you another message, John. We'll try and organize something for next week. Awesome. Yeah, I'm really liking the look of the changes. I'm excited to jump in the game. We've been moving house. I've not been able to play since last Thursday. So yeah, it's really looking good. I think most of the character changes are just better quality of life, improved accuracy. When I was briefly looking over, Added water droplet indicator to a plant. That's pretty nice. I don't play... The problem I get when I look at all the other heroes is I literally only play Shakiri. So I have... I assume this is good. If I was playing Bug, I'd want to know when my plants needed watering. That makes sense. But I have literally no idea how difficult that is to notice anyway. Oh, nice. I've seen those. I was seeing there's a couple of like bug changes on Shakiri's. I know it's interesting about the sword stance reticle. It didn't bother me too much, but I also like that's fine. That's totally cool with me. I'm interested to see what the reticle looks like now. And the low ammo and low charge, that's great. Again, I don't have any problems with these. There's not any like balance changes, are there? Oh, there's a developer note on Tuskar. Is there any other developer notes? Wait, did I just miss one? Developer note made animations that should help communicate when Tuskar is using skills. Make them feel more impactful. That's nice. So, the scenario change was too... Yeah, definitely. You don't want to... There's definitely a thing with making sure you're not changing too many things at once, and I definitely agree with that sort of approach to things. You don't want to mix up how the planetary events are working and change balance at the same time, because it'll suddenly just spiral out of control and it may probably cause more problems than it would fix. Planetary events. Developer notes. This patch has our first draft of the new scenarios and objectives event system. Cool. We want to make... we want each match to be easier to understand. We heard feedback that having multiple planetary event messages at pre-match sequence and occurring at different times through the match didn't actually help players prepare a strategy. Okay, that's fair enough. I don't think in the past I've looked at what is coming up and changed how my build is going to be based off that. So that's fair. As a result, we'll be breaking planetary events out into two groups, scenarios and objectives. Okay. Each match will have one scenario which lasts the whole match, okay, and is messaged during the pre-match screen, as well as multiple objectives that come up one at a time throughout the course of a match. This distinction should help players understand what's going on in a given game by knowing the scenario before and starting to adapt to the right. This is kind of nice. Adapt to it right before the beginning. Players should be better able to focus their strategy, including how they'll be approaching things like hives and amplifiers. Objectives are more predictable. As a player, you'll always know when and where the next objective will be. This is, I think this will be good. I'll have to see how it plays. I guess like, I'm assuming, the ones that are more permanent when they trigger, so the little damage pods and more aggressive or stronger ambient life are the scenarios, and the objectives like damage amplifier, like the big interaction thing. Anything with an interaction, I guess, would be an objective. It'd be interesting if there's a load of damage amplify pods around the place. You might go, well, I'm gonna make a more defensive build here because I'm gonna get my damage by finding those pods rather than using my build to get the damage in, which will be interesting to see. I want to try and play around with it, definitely. We want to get this this change to you as soon as possible, so some content has been removed until it's been updated to fit the new design. Okay, interesting. Scenarios. Every match now has scenarios active at the start. We just read, which will last through the entirety of the match. The game scenario is displayed prominently during the pre-match sequence. Knowing the scenario before you enter the match and having it consistent over the course of the match should help players know what to expect at all points in the game. The current scenarios are Cloak plant growth. There are 25 new cloak plants spread across the map. So you could go super stealth. Interesting. This often adds new texture to otherwise known combat spaces and sometimes creates new strategies around hive heart captures. It also encourages players to be more aggressive since there are more opportunities for escape. That's true. Health boost pods. Every 30 seconds, 15 health boost pods spawn, distributed across the map, with a max cap of 80 total pods. Damage boost pods, I'm assuming, will be the same. Developers know both pods events are generally well regarded internally because everyone likes collecting prizes. That's true. I love a good prize. We're interested to see how these scenarios might influence team strategy, as they are the only mechanic in the game that allows for power to be focused into particular players. Interesting. Okay, so because it's percentage-wise, you might go whoever is our highest damage per shot thing is going to get the biggest bonus from damage boosts. So we basically say to them, for the first 2 hearts, you just collect pods. Just buff yourself the hell up. And the same for health. Whoever's got the highest health might just go, fuck it. I'm just going around buffing myself into this absolute machine for these. And, you know, if we lose the first 2 hearts, we lose the first 2 hearts. But we have this hugely damage or health boosted thing. Let's use a Drak, for example. That is basically just gonna like counter stomp them completely. This is interesting. I'm very interested to see how that plays. Essence canisters. The 2 unlocked stations spawn 180 seconds, into the game, along with 10 canisters. Every minute, we refill the amount of canisters back up to 10. Developers note, we want to keep this event feeling largely like it always has, but without having it dominate the game's pacing. By having fewer up at a time than we used to, the event should feel more like an intentional treasure hunt. I guess one question that I would have is I'm assuming, do we have any indicator as when there are damage pods currently on the map? And does that disappear when the last one's been collected until the next drop? I know it would be extremely hard for one person to get 15 damage boost pods, but for 8 people could potentially like hoover those up, and you might be looking around for damage boost pods and not see anything. I guess maybe it's just if you come across them, you should definitely go out of your way for it, but that'll be interesting. Same with the canisters, I guess, but like maybe it's again, you go to capture A, you do a little spin, you see there are a load of pods around you, grab the pods, and then when you can't see any more pods when you're scanning, go over to grab B, for example. Power Surge. This event now permanently 20% damage boost to all players. So you are going to need health. You are going to need to go fucking defensive immediately. Holy shit. To all players at all times. The global visual treatment has been removed. Okay, that's kind of nice. I found it a bit weird with the red or whatever it was over the top post-processing stuff. Given feedback from some players on wanting we're curious to see how these games will pan out. So, how are you doing, Zell? Welcome. I'm not really in the boat of faster times to kill. I actually personally really like games with longer times to kill. Mainly because I feel like so in a game like Call of Duty, where I'm using extremes here, I guess. This is pretty big. This is pretty big, Zell. A lot of changes to how global events work. They've got the mini-map now in. It's interesting. We're sort of quite a bit of the way through it now, I think. So in a game like Call of Duty, which has like incredibly low time to kill, and I know it won't be this low. You basically can get shot in the back, and there's nothing you can do to respond. In a game with a longer time to kill, it kind of means that there has to be more consistent skill over the entirety of the fight, and maybe you're more rewarded for grouping up, like team shooting, if you like. So the team that focuses one person will have a reasonable time to kill, and the team that doesn't is just going to be like, I don't know, shooting practically brick walls, having nothing. Not too long. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, definitely. And I like that it's random as well. So this is a potential map buff. So it's not like every single game is going to have incredible time to kill because of power surge. It's just the occasional game will, and you probably want to do what you can to buff your defensive capabilities so you're not going to get melted instantly. Global Scanner. Every 160 to 200 seconds, all players are revealed for 10 seconds. Developer notes. This version provides regular moments where you can get a glimpse into what your opponents are doing, but a brief duration of each scan means we won't see some of the less desirable impacts that happen when the reveal lasts longer. True. Just to get an idea, like, are they setting up on the hive? Are they, which harvesters are they working on? Is someone randomly off down at the bottom by themselves? Can we collapse on them? Like, that's an interesting... I think Global Scanner will encourage you to move as a team more rather than splitting up. Metamorphosis. Oh God, here we go. The creatures that kill me. Creatures are now more powerful as soon as the game starts. And they drop 10% more essence, developer notes. This used to be at 50% more essence when the event turned on later in the match, but keeping that bonus with the new design will wildly warped the progression in the early game. We have plans to try a scaling version where creatures grow in strength and rewards every... I like this. I like this if they can do this, where the creatures are getting stronger alongside the hunters. That's pretty cool. Oh, I've already got past the character changes. Basically, they're not doing many character changes because they're changing how the game is going to work, and they don't want to adjust too many things at once, if you get what I mean. So they're basically doing, let's change the game mode now, then we'll change the characters, then maybe change interesting angle. It's basically like the only real one I can do properly. This room is a lot smaller now. So yeah, I've got chat. When I'm looking this way, it's chat. When I'm looking that way, it will be the game. But I don't know. I'm testing it out. I basically just set it up. This is the best one I can get. The green screen kind of fits fully behind me. So it's a much smaller room, but it is my own room. On every edge, yes. The dream, dude. The dream. Maybe we'll get back to those days one day, Zell. Okay, where are we at? And rewards every time a new hive spawns. But for now, it's constant throughout the match. I think that's fair. We also want to make the impact of the event a bit more predictable and less punishing for newer players. So we've taken out the specific buffs like Spitter's Blinding and replaced them with 20% and 20% across the board. Along with a small speed and turn speed boost. For hype! Oh no! Oh no! Oh god. Okay, this is oh god, the wasps are gonna kill me a lot. I think oh dear. Oh dear. Mini harvesters. 10 mini harvesters are spawned at the start of each match and persist throughout the entire match. Each mini harvester grants half the essence of a normal harvester, which means that you could basically, if you had all 10 and the 5, you've doubled your essence gain, which, you know, that means they're pretty strong. So one of these will be persistent during the whole game. These are the scenarios. Objectives. In the new system, objectives are not messaged to the players at the start of the match. Interesting. 90 seconds into each game, we start the 4-minute timer for the first objective event. 10 seconds after the objective event concludes, i.e. all objectives for a given event have been claimed, a new objective event will be chosen and its 4-minute timer will begin. The following events fall into this bucket, and none of them have been altered in this update. So your upgrade, kit amplifier, just anything with an amplifier really. I think that's pretty cool. I think that's fine. Harvester control is pretty nice. Temporary removed events. The following events are not in this build, but we're working to find ways to adapt them into scenarios for the future. Essence eruption. Can you imagine, like just huge portions of the map is like, dude, I don't know. I don't even know how you do it, but I would like big portions, like maybe a big moving cloud, which kind of like seals off different areas, or you can go into it for like high risk, high reward sort of thing. The lava's rising, get to high ground. Oh my god. Is that going to be... I guess you you could do that with a load of like highlighted messages, right? Like make the chat just highlighted messages. The lava is rising. Okay, essence eruption. Okay, portable e-siphon. Developer note. Siphon has always been one of our most polarizing events, and making it a scenario in its current form would amplify that. We know we want to change it before implementing it as a scenario. Some options include making 2 fairly low power siphons worth a harvester or two apiece, and giving one to each team at the start, or making this an objective. Did a siphon basically just work as a portable harvester then? I never really understood, if I'm honest, never really understood what the e-siphon did. I guess while you held it, maybe you had like an extra thing. Stomper gathering and creature groups. Stomper gathering creates some cool moments, but won't play well with the creature camps. We're developing creature camps, guys. Rather than just random out in the world, actual like MMO, not MMO, MOBA creature camps. Oh, that's interesting. We're developing. We'll be iterating on this event in connection to camps to find a version that doesn't break player expectations. It sounds like a jungle will be something in there. Yeah, it's kind of cool because you could have like in the start of a match, then you could send one person C, one person to like A and B, and then one person can be your hard jungler if you like. That's interesting. I like that. Enigma in the jungle. Oh no. Biotic Converter. We don't feel like this event is a good match for Heart of the Hives. What did Biotic Converter do? Making a new version of it isn't our highest priority, but we'll be looking into adapted designs in case there's something awesome there. Interesting. Scanning stations. With Global's scanner becoming a scenario, the current implementation of scanning stations feels redundant. As with Biotic Converter, we'll be experimenting with ways to adapt this objective. Technology and performance. Reduced instances of client and server getting out of sync for a few seconds by more than half. Okay, this is good. Don't want them getting out of sync. This should be a notable improvement for most players in the feel of combat situation. Interesting. Reduce system memory usage by about 10%. Holy shit, my PC's going to run so much better. My PC's going to be so much better, guys. We're now gamers. We're now going to be gamers. Slightly decrease the number of times players will encounter frames that linger too long, hitch, or stutter. I don't think I've really had this. Maybe this is on lower end. Oh. Oh, full mic. Significant improvements in long frames on min-spec machines. Okay, specifically as a result. I don't understand many of this. All I know, all it seems like is that the game is more efficient, which is good. Okay, bug fixes, fine. UI changes. Did a full art pass for active events. So they've... Oh, okay. Event notifiers and event floaters. Fixed a bug that caused audio? No. Fixed character lighting in the main menu? No. Fixed a rare client crash involving visual effects? I don't think so. But I haven't had it for a while, so maybe they did, and I've just not seen it. Maybe. Maybe I might just... I think I've seen it reported. I've seen it reported, so I'm not going to report it again. Wait, there's down here more bug fixes. And, okay, fine. Health bar for specific characters will now be visible. Oh, of spectated. Sorry, dyslexia got me. Nameplates now show while spectating. Cool. Improved performance of map elements and showing/hiding full screen UI. Bug fixes. Fixed an issue that prevented the scoreboard from being visible for some players. Fixed a bug related to the display of available store bundles. Okay. Fixed a bug that caused the surrender vote to update before a player. Dude, I feel like I've actually had this where it's voted for me. Known issues. Reconnecting to a match after disconnecting or leaving while dead will result in the player getting stuck on the respawn screen and unable to play normally. While waiting to respawn, player icons on the minimap may disappear or move erratically. Okay, let's hope that I never get disconnected. Right. I think that all in all, good changes. I'm excited to see where we are with the minimap and stuff like that. And the events. And I'm gonna try do a little bit of adjusting my build to what the event is, maybe, and see if we can do anything with that, as well as looking at the team. But yeah, anyway, good update. I like